Welcome back to the channel and to some AEW Fight Forever coverage. So other than some official gameplay clips last month, and it's been a while since we had some big news about the game to cover, but we do have a few things to catch up on today, coming via some Kenny Omega interviews. So here we go, let's get into today's video. So in terms of release date, the target was by the end of this year, and for now that remains to be on track, with Omega stating the following. We hopefully can be on schedule to make sure that we get this game out this year, fingers crossed. So whilst the game might be on track for the release date, the former AEW World Champion did confirm that the whole process has been a challenge, which ties into reports we got last month of Omega and Yuke's button heads over the game's development, not to mention the numerous reports on the game going way over budget already. It was really challenging because I wasn't sure what I could do, or what I will be able to do, or even from a creative design standpoint. Do the way I communicate my ideas, are they going to be understood? Is it going to be too off the wall? Are my ideas too broad? Are they too grandiose for the budget that we have? These are things I never knew going into the project, and now that it's now to the point that we've talked about what we can do, what we have time for, what we have the budget for, what's doable, and now it's almost time for me to find something else within the project to do because the creative process is almost complete, where we know how the matches will flow, we know some of the systems, we know how the reaction type stuff. It's now in the process of kind of being tuned and then finally tuned from there. So by the sounds of it, so far so good, but Omega would go on to say there is still plenty to be done, with the dev team at Yuke's going all out to get done what is needed. Still a lot of stuff to implement, but our guys now at Yuke's are working at a blistering pace. It's incredible the amount they're doing within a 24-hour period. Just seems like out of nowhere a light switch went off and they went into hyper mode. It's really cool to see some of the stuff that we were worried might get left on the cutting room floor is now getting implemented. So it was a challenge to attempt to make a brand new wrestling game from the ground up during the COVID era, and it got to the point where it seemed bleak, like maybe we would never release this thing, but we kind of got past that. So we know the aim is by the end of this year, and by the sounds of it there is still plenty left to do, but via another interview, Omega did confirm that the game does feature its own feel, with the game's roster members all featuring their own unique gameplay style. The game has to be fun. I also want the game to have its own feel. A match with Kenny Omega should feel like a Kenny Omega match. The same with Darby Allin or Nyla Rose. There can be universal counters, but characters need their unique signature moves. So you're not going to see Sting do a springboard top rope Frankensteiner. Sting will feel like Sting. My hope is that whoever you like, you'll get to enjoy playing like them in the game. Omega would also go on to confirm that the game would also feature some surprises, as well as confirmation that we'll be seeing some new material from the game, so in theory gameplay, in the very near future. Another confirmation that was also said was the confirmation of Cody Rhodes on the game's roster, despite Rhodes returning and being heavily featured in WWE. This may come as a surprise to people, but Cody is still in the game. I was very passionate about making sure his legacy and position within the company were preserved. We've built the game from the ground up, starting everything from scratch. That's why I thought the game could coincide with the birth of the company. You get to experience AEW from the beginning, from day one. The game is going to reflect a lot of that, even though our locker room is ever changing. So Cody Rhodes officially confirmed for the AEW video game roster, a roster of which that will feature at least 50 names, although Tony Khan has since confirmed that the game's roster is not final, so that number will likely increase by quite a bit. Khan also confirmed that the game will feature upcoming DLC, so it will also continue to grow after release. Names rumoured and confirmed for the roster already include the likes of Cody Rhodes, Chris Jericho, Shida, Darby Allin, Jungle Boy, Owen Hart, Sting, CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, Adam Cole, Ruby Soho, Nyla Rose and Chris Statlander. So share your thoughts on my news in the comments section down below. Stay tuned for more like this coming to the channel soon. And until next time, this has been 101 and I will see you all on the next one.